welcome aboard.
SpaceX Dragon, we're go for launch. Let's light this candle.
Liftoff. Go NASA. Go SpaceX. Godspeed, Bob and Doug.
We would like to welcome you aboard Capsule Endeavour.
MD Houston flight. Houston is go for undocking and departure.
Visual, 2 drogues out.
200 meters. We are braced for splashdown.
Copy, brace for splashdown. Endeavour, on behalf of the SpaceX and NASA teams, welcome back to planet Earth. Thanks for flying SpaceX.
South Bay Ford, located right off the 405 freeway, has provided excellent service for 25 years, winning the President's Award for 13 consecutive years and being in the top 100 Ford dealers in the U.S. Come see our over 1,000 car inventory and top volume pre-owned cars at 5100 West Rosecrans Avenue in Hawthorne, California, 90250. Se habla español.
At Farmers Insurance, they know how you like to save on your insurance policy.
You work hard for your assets, we work hard to protect them. Come on by and see us.
Joel Versh's Farmers Insurance office is located at 13666 Hawthorne Boulevard, number 4. For a question, call 310-973-3514. Hablamos Español.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
The Small Business Development Center is here to help you create value for your business. The SBDC offers no-cost advising with paid professional small business experts. Assistance includes accounting and financing, business plans, contracting, marketing or social media, and more. To get more information or to apply for help, call 310-225-8277 or email ECCSBDC@elcamino.edu.
The South Bay Workforce Investment Board is proud to be able to continue providing essential support services to businesses as well as individuals seeking job search assistance during these most challenging times. Our one-stop business and career centers have conformed to the mandated safe distancing protocols, enabling us to continue serving our clients virtually, including immediate support for businesses and displaced workers experiencing closures and layoffs. Visit us at www.sbwib.org and discover how we can work together.
Organic coffee, fine teas, fresh meals, and delicious desserts are all baked and prepared fresh daily at Earth Cafe South Bay. Plus, a wide variety of options are also available for catering. Earth Cafe South Bay is currently open daily from 7 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. for takeout and delivery. To order online, visit their website at www.earthcafe.com or by calling Earth Cafe South Bay at 424-426-0700.
Hi, I'm Tanya with Republic Services. Recycling is important because it helps ensure the longevity of valuable resources for future generations. That's Recycling Simplified.
SoCal Gas. At SoCal Gas, our mission is to build the cleanest, safest, most innovative energy company in America. Hughes Payroll Management, providing payroll, accounting, and bookkeeping services for small businesses in Hawthorne.
Good morning and welcome to Hawthorne Business Expo 2021, presented by the City of Hawthorne. My name is Olivia Valentine, Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Hawthorne. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we will be joined momentarily by our Mayor, Alex Vargas. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please sit. You have heard the expression, sometimes life gives us lemons and we have to make lemonade. Nothing could be more expressive of that sentiment than the fallout from the COVID lemon we have all experienced over the past year. For our businesses, your lemonade has been reinventing your business. This is why our theme this year is Reinventing Your Business in 2021. COVID-19 has challenged the business community as never before, but it has also created new avenues for you to learn new online skills, to better market your products in order to continue to service your existing customers and to reach new ones. Hawthorne Business Expo 2021 will do its part this year, as we have in the past 5, to provide value to your businesses. This year, our program is an educational format, and we have reinvented ourselves as we asked your businesses to do by making our program entirely virtual, in keeping with the need for social distancing. And now a word from Mayor Alex Vargas.
Hi, can you guys hear me out there?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Olivia Valentine, for having me here. And I want to commend the Mayor Pro Tem Olivia Valentine for continuing and promoting business here in the city of Hawthorne, along with fine arts, commercial opportunities here within the city, growing our city in many, many ways. So I want to congratulate you, Mayor Pro Tem Valentine, for your efforts, which are grand, and you're an essential part of our Hawthorne community and moving us forward. So I really think that the city of Hawthorne over the last 5, 6, 7 years has become a destination city. There's so many opportunities here. We're so centralized that you could go to the beach, you could go to the airport, you could go to downtown, you could go down to Orange County. We're so central, we're like a hub of activity and potential. And we've already seen that potential with companies like SpaceX, Tesla, Earth Cafe, all the different businesses that are opening up, that are in the pipeline, that are going to be opening up in the El Segundo corridor. And there's so many opportunities, people moving in. One of the best determinants of how successful a city is sometimes the property values, and we can see that the property values have increased and skyrocketed. Obviously, there's a lot of people that would love to live here in the city of Hawthorne, and that makes it complicated for some people to move into the city of Hawthorne. So we're victims of our own success, I guess. So I guess that's a positive way of looking at that. But the programs that you're going to see, I've seen them over the years, and this one is promising to be even better and top off the previous ones, are going to help you as business owners, you who are looking to open up businesses here within the city of Hawthorne, potential on how to grow your businesses, become successful, and be able to tap into the marketplace that's the Hawthorne residents and nearby South Bay residents and metropolitan LA residents. Continuing to be a destination city, having your businesses become destinations here within our city. And so I wish you guys good luck. Pay attention to the seminars, the breakout rooms, etc. And I wish you all much success. So thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Valentine. Congratulations to all your volunteers and all the team that helped put this together. It looks good. The program looks awesome. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor Vargas. Before we move on, I would like to acknowledge dignitaries in the audience if they're here. Mayor Robert Pullen Miles of the City of Lawndale, representing Assemblywoman Autumn Burke. Is he here? Kendrick Jones, representing State Senator Stephen Bradford. Is he here? We'll try to acknowledge them when they arrive. We hope you will remain with us all day, as we know your business will benefit from the educational resources we have planned for you. Immediately following this introduction, you will learn lean business planning from Tim Berry, the founder of Palo Alto Software. Then at 11:30 a.m., you will be treated to some entertainment, a comedy sketch from comedian Lorinda Hawkins Smith, and an inspirational song, Climb Every Mountain, from singer Donald Perry. Our panel discussions will follow. First, panel 1 at 12 p.m. will discuss community and government resources to help businesses survive COVID-19. Then at 1 p.m., panel 2 will have a discussion on how business owners reinvented themselves after COVID-19. When we planned the event, we put the title in the past tense because we thought by this time businesses would be mostly back to normal. But you certainly can see that they are anything but back to normal. So the businesses will talk about how they are still trying to reinvent themselves. Tim Berry is a successful entrepreneur. He is the founder and chairman of Palo Alto Software, founder of bplans.com, and a co-founder of Borland International. He built Palo Alto Software from 0 to 40 employees, multi-million-dollar sales with no debt, and 70% market share without outside investment. Tim is a business plan expert. Tim has written about business planning for more than 10 years for entrepreneur.com and also for the U.S. Small Business Administration at sba.gov. In addition, he has written several books on planning. The latest, Lean Business Planning, was published in 2015 by Motivational Press. Tim reads and reviews about 50 business plans per year as an investor member of the Willamette Angel Conference, a local angel investment group. He is a frequent judge of business plan competitions, including the Rice University $1 Million Business Plan Competition and the University of Texas Venture Labs Competition, formerly Moot Corp, the Super Bowl of business plan competitions. Tim has a Stanford MBA degree, an MA in journalism with honors from the University of Oregon, and a BA in literature magna cum laude from the University of Notre Dame. And now Hawthorne Business Expo 2021 proudly presents our keynote speaker, Tim Berry.
Thank you very much. Thanks, first of all, to the City of Hawthorne, Mayor Vargas, and Mayor Pro Tem, Councilwoman Olivia Valentine. And thanks also to the El Camino College Small Business Development Center and Starling Van Buren for the invitation to speak here to you. It's a topic that I really appreciate. And I want to emphasize before I get started, this is not about the business plan that you fear, the daunting business plan that you're presenting to investors or bankers. No, let's get this straight. It's lean business planning is a method for you, every business owner, to get what you want from your business. This is for all of us who own a business, and we're looking at how to establish specific goals, tasks, deadlines, and follow through with accountability and make our businesses better. That's what this is, not the big formal business plan. So that's very important to me. Also, a quick plug. I've been working with small business development centers for more than 2 decades now, and I was very close to them while I built my business from 0 to 40 some people and $4.5 million a year of sales without outside investment. Step by step, the Small Business Development Center is an excellent source of business information, training, and help. And I always want to recommend them. So for today, for this time that we have together, the goal is to show you, the business owner, how to manage that business better, particularly in these times that we're in of rapid change and unpredictability. I'm going to talk about how you're going to build for yourself simple, easy, not for anybody else to read, but you're going to build a lean business plan that's like a dashboard for your business. And then it's going to be easy to review it and revise it every few weeks so you actually get management to make your business better. That's what this is about for now. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it because I believe in what I'm doing with this. And I've seen it work. Years ago, I was helping Apple Computer grow its Apple Japan subsidiary with this method basically, and they went from $180 million to more than $2 billion in 3 years, basically following this kind of dashboard that I'm going to share with you. And I used it to build my own business. So it's not theoretical. And as we do that, let me get to, and we should go to slideshow there. What I want to make sure we do during this time we have together is let's make sure that this is interactive, that we're giving you a chance to ask your questions. This is right here, my general plan for how I'm going to go through this. But there is in your Zoom interface, you've got a couple things. Now, I can't tell you which is which because we're receiving you on various PCs, Macintoshes, tablets, etc. So in your interface, you should be able to find something called Q&A, which if you click on it or touch it or whatever, it gives you a chance to type in a question. And to optimize that, Eric and Josh may be there too. There's a couple who will help me when I pause to make sure that your questions are asked. And I will be, as I talk, adding some pauses because what we want to avoid, you and me, is me talking slides for too long without you being able to ask questions, make comments, and keep this yours, not mine. Here's your, now this, what we're seeing now is my plan with slides and so on for how I'm going to go through this. And you'll see, I'll talk about strategy, tactics, numbers, and execution, and the whole process. And in between sections, I will leave you time so that we can stop and talk and make sure that you get a chance to ask your questions as they come up. That's important to me, and particularly with this format that we're all getting used to. We don't want to necessarily hold questions till the end. We really want to go through this as best we can. So I'm going to start this by pausing, and let's hear from the moderators who will help me handle questions. So that I think is Eric Chavez. You're there?
Yes.
Perfect. So we're okay so far, and we're in the interface where we're just seeing slides. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Josh Beagles, you there? Okay, we've got Eric for sure. So this will be your chance. This is for you, not for me. I may on occasion, and that's not what we wanted to do. I may on occasion, no, there again, there we go. Mention software that the El Camino Small Business Development Center is facilitating for business owners. This topic and my discussion will be generic. This is not about software. This is not how to use software. This is how to run your business better. It's completely independent of software. However, when there is mention of life plan, That's because the Starlene Van Buren and the El Camino Small Business Development Center have facilitated that for the business owners that work with them. So if that seems intriguing and you don't know about it, haven't heard about it yet, contact them and mention this webinar, because this is not a sales pitch. This is about a method. And before I go, you know how when you're doing these webinars and so on, it's, oh, do I struggle to do notes? And how do I go to the next? What is this? I want you to know ahead of time what will be available. So if you forget, right here, you can see tim@paloalto.com is my email, and I will be able to email you a copy of the slides that I'm using. Also, we're recording this webinar, so there will be access later. And then there's Live Plan, which, as I said, this is through the Small Business Development Center. There are these resources that will make this all available to you afterwards, so that I hope we can concentrate on interacting for this time that we have together, and it won't be a matter of notes or whatever. So that's available in the background, and you'll get it. It will be available when you're done. Also in that, for those of you who do end up through the SBDC using Live Plan to do this, that's full of help. And I don't want to go through in detail, but I want you to know that it's there, because this will be the resource. If you see something here that comes up, well, you'll know where to find more help. That's fairly important, which includes built-in videos. So there is a lot of help on that. There's examples and instructions and videos and whatever. That's all part of it. So you already have that through the SBDC. But what I want to make the point here is that's available to you. Use it. Nobody assumes you know everything. It's, okay, how do I do this step by step? And where's the help on this? What does this particular thing mean? What are the examples? So already I'm going to pause right there to make sure that our question and answer facility is working before we go into this about lean.
It's working, and we have no questions at the time. Thank you.
Perfect.
Tim,
Thank
this is
you, Eric.
Josh Eagles. Just thought I'd mention
Okay.
I'm on here as well, Tim.
Oh, good. Thank you, Josh. Yes, so that will be valuable. And that's a reminder to all of you who are here with me that do that Q&A, and we'll be able to stop and address questions and take comments as they come up. If you're dying to add something that you think should be added, or even if you just want to a little bit, do the Q&A, and we can then, Eric has the controls to change and put your voice in, put you in where your microphone is on, and let you do that directly, or you can type it through the Q&A. But some background here, because you hear so much about lean this and lean that. You've got the book, The Lean Startup, which is all the rage in startups. But what's really lean? Why do we call this lean business planning? Lean started back in the 1950s. The old guy in the picture there, W. Edwards Deming, was the main advocate. It's not something that one person thought of, but Dr. Deming became known for it. It was also called the Toyota method because it first took root in Japan, and interestingly enough, kind of traveled from Japan to the rest of the world, even though it was American in the original concept. They started adopting it in Japan. And what it was this cycle that you see here that applies to so many things in business. It's not just planning. The idea of lean is you don't sit back and take a long time planning the whole future. You do it a little bit at a time. So with manufacturing, with the Toyota way, as they called it, they would come up with something that they could do better. And they'd incorporate it into their procedures, and they do it a little bit at a time. They do it, they check, is it working? How is it working? What do we have to adjust? And then move on to the next thing. So it's a little bit at a time. And then in the last decade in startups, it's a world that I've been living in a lot, but for those of you who aren't following it, all the rage was called the lean startup, and based on this book by Eric Ries, and there's a Stanford prof, Steve Blank, who's also an entrepreneur that's been associated with it. The idea of the lean startup beginning in 2009 was basically the same thing applied to startups. You don't plan the whole thing. You don't sit back and, I mean, well, we'll get into the context of business planning, but no, you take it a little bit. So for startups, they came up with this concept of the minimum viable product, and you build just to where you can launch the minimum viable product. And then you watch, you launch, you see how the buying public receives it. You see what the comments are, how the people are using it, and you evaluate, check. How is it doing? What's working? What isn't working? What's good? What's bad? What do we need to change? So it's once again a cycle in a lean startup where you don't sit back and wait for the whole thing. You do. You get going. For me, as somebody who's, when I built my business, I didn't have the patience. Even though I'd had a lot of training and spent years consulting in business planning, I didn't have the patience to have the plan perfect before I launched. I wanted to get going. It's like that old saying, don't wait for all the lights to be green before you leave the driveway. You know things are going to come up. So you're constantly reviewing and revising, which, by the way, is why this becomes so important in these times that we have with the pandemic and all the uncertainty. You don't want to take the time to do some magnificent big plan. You want to get going and keep adjusting. So that leads us to, from the lean startup, this, what we're calling lean business planning. Your plan that you do, and that's what we'll be talking about a lot, is simple. Forget that big business plan that you might have seen in the past that was all the rage when I got into entrepreneurship a few decades ago, that you had the big business plan before you launched. No, what we're talking about is essentially building a dashboard that, for lack of a better word, we call a plan. But it's simple, it's bullet points. And I'm going to go through strategy, tactics, essential numbers, concrete specifics. You're going to do just bullet point lists to get that plan started. And it's going to be just for yourself and your team. If you're one single person running your own business, you still want to write it down so that you can check it later. With interactivity, it's harder with Zoom, but I want you to think for a second. And why do we bother to write it down? There's a really important point here. You write down, and this is simple. This is like we're talking about a few bullet point lists plus some projections. This is not your big text. But you write it down for a very real business specific reason. If you write down your assumptions and what you think are the key points of strategy and tactics and so on, time goes by 3-4 weeks later, then you have something you can review. What did I think? What was I planning? What were my assumptions? So we're building a dashboard in management here. So you write that down so that even just 3 or 4 weeks later, you can go back and, oh, okay, what has changed? So that simple plan, and then you run it and you review. And in this method, we'll talk about how you're going to review every month is what I recommend. Some people do it more, some people do it less, but I will say that Palo Alto Software, which is now 80 some people and considerably more than $10 million a year in annual sales, and profitable and self-financed, no outside investors. Palo Alto software was built on a monthly review of the business plan, and then you revise because things change. And that's part of why this method is so important. So the underlying goal here is what you're doing for your business, if you follow this lesson, this method, is the equivalent of the 2021 use of the GPS with like Google Maps. So you have your destination. That's like your long-term strategy, your goals. That's where you want to get to. And you have your route, and your route is a bit like your tactics and your projections and your specific tasks and so on. And you have real-time information so that as you're driving along, if things change, you get real-time information and you accommodate. I'm in Portland, Oregon right now. I live in Eugene. That's about 2 hours on I-5 North. 2 weeks ago, as I was driving up here, my GPS alerted me that there had been an accident between Salem and Portland, and it suggested a detour. The detour saved me about an hour sitting deadlock in traffic because of I-5. So I went around the old route. That's what we're doing with this methodology with business. That's why it's important. So here it is. Here's the logic of it. And we're going to go through these together today. I'm going to talk about strategy first. And that in your lean plan is going to be your reminder to yourself and your main key team of what are the key points. So we'll get into that shortly. And then tactics. We'll talk about how your tactics match your strategy. And here too, we're talking about simple bullet point lists. It's the thinking that's essential, not the writing it down beyond just the bullet point lists. And then essential numbers, because let's be honest, business plans and theory and strategy notwithstanding, you can't sleep at night running your own business. You know it, I know it, if you don't know your numbers. What's key? Cash flow, what matters. Your sales forecast leads to your expense budget, and then how you deal with loans and buying assets and so on, all of that gets to your cash flow. You need those numbers to run your business. And that may be something that is part of that big formal business plan that people don't do as much anymore. But think of it as how much harder it is to run your business without the numbers than it is to do the numbers. So that's the third, and we'll talk about that. And then execution. We're all human. What happens is if you don't write it down and track it, it doesn't get done. In too much of the real world business, we have all kinds of priorities competing. And if you don't have what's supposed to happen, when, who's responsible, how much it was supposed to cost, and then you go back and you review it, well, then you're really hurting your execution. And that's what this is about, making your business better. So then we have an arrow from execution here to the decision point. Do you have a business plan event? Yes or no? A business plan event is when you have to show a business plan to some outsider for some external reason, like, for example, you're applying in a local bank for a business loan. Well, you're going to want a business plan. Almost always, the loan managers for small business loans will want to see the business plan. Or if you're trying to go to angel investors or venture capital to get investment, and there's some other business plan events, divorce, for example, trying to value the company, et cetera. There are other reasons that you have business plan events. So what you see here in the chart is, it's a decision. Do you have the business plan event? Yes or no? If yes, well, then you're going to do some of the more standard stuff that's really beyond the method here, where you're going to have a business plan text you can show and a slide presentation or whatever. If you don't, and that's 95% of us business owners, don't have to show the business plan to outsiders. So we don't do a lot of extra things. We just do what's required by the business. And that goes back to this cycle. So we have our bullet point lean plan. We're running, and every 3 or 4 weeks, every month, we're going to review the results. We're going to track the results. And depending on how things are going, we're going to revise. So that's our dashboard to manage change. And that is the real logic of the lean business planning as a method. And before I go into strategy and those bullet points, I'm going to pause to make sure that we have a chance to ask questions.
No questions so far.
Okay. And remember, you don't have to wait until the end. When you're thinking of it, somebody else is, and it's a matter of typing it in. And as you hear, then I'm sorry you can't see me while you see the slides, but we will be interactive with that. So this is a marker for the first part of the business plan, talking about strategy. Let's talk about real world business strategy for all businesses, and that's all business owners. So when Michelangelo started to do the sculpture, the David, he had a big block of marble. As he created the sculpture, he took things off of the block of marble. Strategy essentially is very much like that. As business owners, and I've been there, this is not theoretical. As business owners, we want to do everything. Every email that comes in, every idea that we get, whether it's in a meeting or in the shower or caught the freeway driving, we're always thinking about our business. And the instinct is to do everything. Strategy is essentially figuring out what you're not going to do and focusing on what's most important. In the background here is something that I've worked on for several decades called the displacement principle, which is everything that you do as a business owner rules out something else that you can't do because you're doing that first thing. So strategy is focused, and it's what you don't do. So here's an example of a strategy summary. It doesn't have to be this format. This format is what you get with the pitch page and live plan, but think of it as bullets and think of it as setting through what you're focusing on. Now, in this case, this woman, Magda, is running a deli in an office park outside of San Jose. Her main mantra is really good breakfast and lunch in the office park. Why? Because that helps her focus. And notice how already it's what she's not doing. She's not doing dinner, and she's not competing with the local Subway and the Togos and so on. She's trying to do something that she can differentiate so people will know how she's special. So she does that with the logic of a problem worth solving and her solution. Think about that for your business as we do it. What is the problem worth solving? In her case, convenient breakfast and lunch ought not to be poor quality food. The office workers back in the pre-COVID days, it's ironic how much of this, this presentation is less than a year old, but yeah, in the pre-COVID days, people would be stuck at the office park and their options were fast food that makes you feel bad. You're trying to take care of your weight, you're trying to get exercise, and then there's the lunch problem. So Magda was out to solve that. And then her strategy, the problem and the solution. And She's talking about the solution is really good barista quality coffee, local, organic, healthy breakfast, and so on. Just from the mantra and the problem and the solution, you see a strategy growing. This is how you're different. This is what the sculptor takes off of the marble, takes out to leave the sculpture. Then she does some basics, target market, and you'll see in this case, the local workers and students, because there happens to be a junior college right contiguous to the office park, and catered meetings and visitors and vendors, people coming in and out. She's focusing. All of this strategy stuff is a lot of what you're not doing. So she's not looking for good dinners. She's not looking for people to drive because she's there. She's looking to focus on the most important people so she can run her business based on that. That doesn't mean she isn't happy to get somebody who likes her healthy breakfast so much that they'll drive into the office park for them. She's delighted, but she starts with this focus. And then you'll see competitors, good food elsewhere, how our solution is better. Good food elsewhere, we have good food here. Good food delivered, well, we're closer and we're faster. Good food to go, we're closer and faster. So that's one example. That's a strategy. And you can see here, if you think about your own business and how you're doing your own strategy. There's your business identity.
Tim, we do have a question in the Q&A box.
Okay.
Can you see it, or would you want me to read it for you?
I can
read it for you if you like.
Yeah, this is, no, my options while I'm in the slides are different. Please read it for me.
No worries. The question is, what is the best way to learn how to do sales forecasting to get the info needed for the plan?
Oh, yes, good question. And I will be going into a detailed with examples on the sales forecast, but I'm going to anticipate that a little bit to answer this question now, which is, as a business owner, you have several options. The first is you're going to use the data from last year to forecast this year. You're going to pull from the past, and then you're going to think about it. What's different this year? And this year, God knows, we all have a lot of things different. But first you have to think the best keys for forecasting is what happened in the past for this same business. And if you think about it well, think about what information your accounting and bookkeeping gives you, because that's the rule. You want to be able to compare what you forecast to what you actually got. So the way you divide up, for example, this deli, in her QuickBooks, Magda is getting back her revenue by breakfasts, lunches, beverages, sort of aggregated. So she could go back and get every ham sandwich, but she can't aggregate. So she sees breakfasts and lunches and beverages. And she's going to work a forecast with that aggregated sort of summary data. And she's going to take from the past and pull forward into the future and look at capacity and trends and see how it might be different. That's number one. Number two is you're going to sit back and look at the drivers. If you've never done, if it's a new business, you're going to think of what drives business. In Magda's case, it's probably traffic. In a web case, and I'll go over some examples, there are email-driven businesses, there are website, web visits-driven business. If you don't know, pull back to what drives sales, traffic, websites, whatever, and then break it down into the right level of aggregation so you can do an educated guess. I'll go back over that, but I feel like that's probably enough for right now. And we are going there. Sales forecast is so important. In some of my blogging, I've written that if you just do a sales forecast, you're going to have in the back of your head all of the things that drive the sales forecast, because you couldn't do a sales forecast without it. And then follow up and track plan versus actual sales, and you're already doing lean business planning if you do nothing else. So end of digression, and thank you for that question. That's exactly what I meant. Let's talk about it when it comes up. I want to know what you're worried about as I go through this, so we can talk about it. This right here, the framework doesn't matter for strategy. There's all kinds of strategy frameworks. It doesn't matter. You don't need a PhD degree. You don't need to be CPA or MBA. You need to just understand your business. And this is one way I'm putting here, simply because it works. It's not the only way, but take a step back and focus. Identity is what you do best, what you like to do, how you're different. Problem, the problem that you solve, and see it as the real problem. Marketing guru Ted Levitt once says, nobody buys drills because they want drills. They buy drills because they want holes. Years ago, when I started a business that was doing software to help with business plans, I had to grapple with the fact that nobody wanted to do a business plan. They wanted the results. They wanted the management and the decisions. And in the old days, the approvals that came from having the business plan. So we had to focus on the results, the management, the doing better business, not on the software. And that brings your solution. And the market is so important. If you're a restaurant in your area, down in Hawthorne, are you going to be looking for the expensive meals for the millennials dating and the older couples that get a night out without the kids? So there's good food and it doesn't have to be rushed and there's peace and quiet. Well, that's one kind of a market. Or are you focusing on busy people who want to just eat and get the hell back to whatever else they were doing? Well, that's a different market. You can't do both. One of my favorite quotes, I don't have a slide for it, but think about this. I don't know the secret to success, but I do know that the secret to failure is trying to please everybody. That's a core concept for strategy in small business. Market, I think I've talked about it here. I'm going to skip this slide. Here's another example. Again, this is done in the pitch of Live Plan, but look at it. You don't need the software. The software is to help, but you can do this in Word or whatever. Try to think of your mantra, your one sentence. This is a startup that is trying to deliver hot soup to office buildings in downtown Portland, Oregon. Again, another one that has postponed, been put on hold. They've managed to stay alive during COVID by delivering them to homes, but it changed the model here. But there's their description of how the problem, healthy organic soup for lunch, their solution, deliver it into the workplace. The economics were better for them when they conceived the business because they were delivering 25 and 50 soups at a time into where workers were concentrated. Their target market is just the office building locations, their competitors, etc. There's a strategy summary. This isn't here so you read it. It's here so you get the idea that it's simple. This doesn't take PhD or MBA or CPA. This takes understanding your business. Here's another one that's downloadable, by the way. In the information at the end of this, there's a free download for doing it like this for a lean business plan that you can just fill in these blanks. And that comes straight from the links that I think are in the last slide. And if not, we can get them to you. This is just a free download for that. And this is a bicycle shop. And they're doing the same thing: problem, solution, target market, and competition. And that gives them strategy. So pausing there before I go to tactics. Questions on this simple framework for your business strategy?
No new questions.
Okay, next we're going to look at tactics. And here, I'm going to pause on this so we see this hierarchy. It's somewhat more detailed than I like my slides to be, but you can see how actual business is based on this pyramid idea where at the top you have the main focus that is the strategy. That's sort of the key to long-term consistent strategy. What you're not doing, remember the sculpture, identity, problem, solution, market, etc. Under that, you see tactics. And you want to be thinking about how your tactics match your main strategy. Tactics are things that in the traditional plan might be the marketing plan or the sales plan or the financial plan. All of these are tactics. Pricing is a tactic, distribution, marketing, finance, product service details, all of those are tactics. And this is going to be another list of bullet points in your lean business plan. And what you want is to have them match the strategy. And I'll show that more in detail with examples in a moment. But execution then is the base of it. That's what it's all about. You know, we mentioned I read a lot of business plans for angel investment and business plan competitions. So much of them are just blue sky theory. The core, and especially for those of us who are actually in the real world running the business, is the execution, which is what happens when, how much does it cost, who's in charge of it. And that's what you're going to track and review and revise as needed over and over again. That's the key to it. That's what makes it work. But the alignment here is it working together? Do your tactics match your strategy? Are you executing on the actual tactics? And these are examples that you can do in the strategy, but in the software, but it's more formatted than you need, and the software helps for that. But just look at sales channels and marketing activities and the people. Those are tactics. I like the tactics more here. Let me give you an example of alignment. I worked for years with retail computer shops. I was, here, a second, I need to clear my throat. I was a consultant for Apple Computer working with their dealers. And I found over and over again, the dealers would have tactics that didn't match their strategy. In that case, they were saying our strategy is value added, peace of mind for small business owners. We weren't going to compete on the price because you couldn't compete with Macintoshes on the price alone. So they had bundling and they had services and they had installation, except that they didn't. They were saying it in their planning and they were saying it in their meetings, but you would go to the dealership and their service was a disaster left over in the back. They weren't installing anything. They weren't actually executing their strategy. Another example with the restaurants. So your strategy says you're going to be a high-end restaurant, relatively expensive, relatively good food, not fast. You're dealing with the environment, the ambiance, the occasion, right? That's your strategy. Well, then don't have a kid's playground contiguous to the restaurant. Don't have the balls the kids jump in. Don't have all that. Don't have drive-through. If you're going to be high-end, don't have discount pricing. If you're going to say you are the best and you have this experience, nobody believes you if you're also the cheapest. That's what we're talking about. Tactics matching distribution, matching the strategy. Another one that came up with the retail computer stores example is they were talking about service and peace of mind and reliability, and they were really hassling their buyers about paying fast and not doing the installation that made the buyers happy. So they weren't executing on their strategy. Think about that in your business. That's what we're talking about with tactics. Pricing, who's in your market, how you're selling, how you're marketing. The tactics have to match the strategy. And here's a key point, and this is why we have this lean planning at all, is that tactics are going to change often. Remember, as we go through this, there's no virtue whatsoever in sticking to a plan just because you have a plan. We all had a plan a year ago, and then COVID struck. For those of us who were working with lean business planning, when we had to change, we had our plan that set up for ourselves what was the strategy, what were the tactics, how did they relate to budgets and sales and whatever. So we could use that plan like a dashboard to change and adopt and adjust to COVID. Palo Alto Software had 82 employees when COVID started, and it has 82 employees right now. And that was tough. That was hard for us. It took a lot of adjusting the plan on where we were spending and what we were spending. But we were able to do it in large part because we had the plan and we were able to see what happened. And then we tracked and we were very empowered to change those tactics often because we have to. And the main strategy hasn't changed, but the tactics are much more influenced by the temporary situation and the change in assumptions. So there, now I'm going to talk about essential numbers, but once again, a pause for questions, examples.
No questions right now, Tim. Thank you.
Okay, so remember, wherever you're doing Zoom, you can do in your interface the Q&A and insert your questions and comments. I'm not a big fan of a voice talking at slides. We don't have the option of showing my face and the slides at the same time. So we're going to go forward with the slides, but remember, use that Q&A because that's going to help us make sure that this is helpful to you all the way along the way. But next point is those numbers. Now, somebody asked about the sales forecast. And yes, I'm going to talk about and have some examples of the sales forecast here. But let's start with this, which is really important and tough on those of you who have had training in accounting and bookkeeping, because the sales forecast, the projections, we call them, technically we call them pro forma profit and loss, pro forma sales forecast, pro forma balance sheet, pro forma cash flow. The pro forma is just business speak, buzz plan for projected or educated guessing. That's what it means. And for those who have training in accounting, it's really hard to jump to a different mindset when we're talking about doing a sales forecast, for example. It's going to look like your sales report from your accounting, but there's a huge difference. It's like going through a Stargate or something. Accounting has to be accurate to the last penny. It has to be. We use it for taxes, for God's sakes. It's legal. You have to have everything right down to the last penny. So planning is quite different because planning is necessarily an educated guess. We're humans. We don't guess the future that well, but we set it down so we can track it and keep tracking it and change it often as things change. It's a huge difference. It's like I think of it as the Stargate where we're in different dimensions. In accounting, it starts today and goes backwards in time into ever increasing detail. You have depreciation for the year in accounting. You can click on it and see asset by asset. What was its book value? What is it now? How much depreciation for the year? All of that in infinite detail. But planning, on the other hand, if you have depreciation in your profit and loss, as you should, when you're looking at what it's going to be next year and the year after that, it's an educated guess. You can't possibly do a whole database of future assets and how much they're going to depreciate each one of them in 2021 and 2022. You want those guesses to be educated, but it's a different mindset. This is planning, not accounting. You're guessing. So here's an example, and don't read the numbers in detail right now. What's important for this presentation is you're looking at sort of the level of aggregation in a sales forecast. We talked about Magda with her deli. So as she looks at what she's going to do, she doesn't forecast every latte and every cafe americano or whatever. She forecasts how many coffees per month in units and what's the average price. See, she's averaging here because it's not accounting, it's a forecast. And then per month, how many lunches in units and what's the average price of a lunch. So she's not doing ham sandwiches versus roast beef sandwiches. She's aggregating because we're human and that's the way our mind works. We can't do an infinite detail. It just doesn't work for us. Beverage is the same thing, but this is a classic sales forecast and something that's important for you as business owners is try to forecast in accordance with the information you get from your accounting, because as this moves forward, after January, somewhere around the third week of February in 2022, Magda is going to have actual unit sales and actual prices for each of these concepts if they match her bookkeeping. And then she can start evaluating. So the forecast you see here, it isn't about guessing for 12 months ahead exactly what's going to happen. It's about guessing in an educated guess that you'll be able to track and manage with. That's the key for the sales forecast. And she's got it aggregated and she's got drivers. So what are the drivers? You need to know that. For your business, it's different. For a lot of businesses, traffic. With COVID, a lot of that has then become website traffic or phone calls or whatever. In this example, we're looking at a business that's driving a lot of its sales through email marketing. So how do you predict what the sales are going to be? Well, you look at the relationships of the drivers. So in this example, they're going to send 20,000 emails in January. They're assuming from past results, or if they're new to it, they go to Google and they do what are average email opens, et cetera, that of the 20,000 emails, 35% of them will be opened. 8% of them will generate a click. And that click will be to a website. So the 8% of 35% is 560 people will view the website that was linked to in this first email here. And they're assuming that 0.5% of them will actually buy what they're selling. In ongoing businesses, those of you that have been doing this for a while, if you're doing email marketing, you know these numbers. It's harder if you're embarking on email marketing in the future, but estimates are find outable due to the magic of the web. And also remember, you've got your SBDC in the background that's providing information and help on some of these things as well. The point here of this is you can do your sales forecast if you focus on the drivers. As a business owner, you need to know this stuff, and you probably do, or you wouldn't still be in business. So there's one example of how you get to 3 units based on how many emails you're going to send. Here's another example based on a web business, and you're doing the numbers in the background. So you're not doing self-test quiz here. How many of you know the term swag and what it stands for? Swag. We used it a lot. I, for years, was a vice president in a tech marketing consulting firm. And we used a lot of swag, but we called it different things. Swag stands for scientific wild ass guess. We don't want that anymore. It's 2021. With information that's available, we can do a sales forecast based on stuff that we can know. So in this case, here's a forecast based on website visits. So organic website visits in this case, 200 per month is what the business owner forecasts. Website visits coming from social media, 350 per month. In an ideal world, you know that because you're tracking that in the past. And if you're embarking on something new, well, then you want to find out what's reasonable if you have a website, how many visits, and so on. Website PPC stands for pay per click, which is very, very common. That's where you're paying Google, etc., to put your website in front of people who type a certain search term. So this assumption, this sales forecast is saying we're generating 2,000 website visits that we're paying for. And if you look towards the bottom, they're assuming that they're paying $1 a click, so they're paying $2,000, and that will generate 2,000 website visits. So the 2,000 plus 200 and 350 gives me 2,550 website visits. And if I have that same conversion rate of 0.5%, that's 13 unit sales. And then you can see how, in this case, the sales forecast calls for it increasing over time. This is how we forecast sales. We aggregate and we make assumptions, and these are educated guesses, and we relax. It doesn't have to be right. It has to be trackable. That's why we're in this lean business planning mode. If we can track it, we can review it and revise it as we go. So how did Magda get her numbers? Think about in your business, but in this business, let's just see. She has a few slides back. I'll go there quickly. She has some lunches and beverages and coffee in her sales forecast. And here we are. There's her design of her deli in the office park. And you can actually count how many people she has. If it's all full, there's 4 per booth, and there's 3 booths, so 4 times 3 is 12. And then there's 2 per table, and there's 3 tables. So 2 times 3 is 6, so 12 and 6 is 18. And then she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stools. So that's 18 plus 5 is 23. When this business is going full blast, there's 23 people eating there. And then there's the counter to pick up the to-goes. So she can think through, okay, in the future, if I'm going to be running at, let's say, on average, 70% or so occupied during the key 2 lunch hours. So she can do 23 times 0.7 times 2 gives me, I'm not going to do that math in my head, but you can do it in a spreadsheet. That gives me an assumption for how many lunches. See, I didn't have to go to business school for that. I just have to be able to do the basic math. And then if she adds in a similar thing for how many breakfasts, and then she looks at, she's got 5 days a week. And so she's got maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours of good capacity at lunch, maybe an hour and a half at breakfast. She does those numbers, and that's how she comes up with them. And she starts by making sure she can track them through her accounting. That's where sales forecasts come from. With your life plan, you will get some help with numbers from the benchmarks in life plan. Again, a life plan you get through the El Camino College Small Business Development Center. And thanks again, Arlene. But this is provided for you so you can look, if you're deli, at what are the average days per pay, revenue per employee, so on. You get a lot of this to error check if you're going into the future and see this is selected. So this is snack and non-alcoholic beverage bars. And the software lets you select it for the month and for how big you are and so on. We can't do that here. We don't have time. But just so you know it's there. Then you're going to estimate direct costs. And it's the same method. It's educated guessing. The coffee, I said, I'm going to sell it. Magda sells it for $2 on average. Well, what does the coffee cost? And you have an estimate for that. What do you want to call it? Coffee. How much will it cost? 20% of your revenue. That's an educated guess. But you, the business owner, you can do that to build your estimated direct costs for what you're selling. Estimate people costs. You know your wages, right? You know your salary. With the normal way of doing it, you do gross, and then you have your employee expenses that you want to estimate. I'm doing this with that software, but you can do this in a spreadsheet. How much am I paying each person per month? And how much am I paying for my employer taxes and allowance for vacation costs, et cetera, et cetera. These are finite numbers. You as business owners, you can do this. Just lay it out, use the software, use your own spreadsheet if you want, lay it out step by step, month by month, and it's well within your capacity. Estimate your expenses. It's the same thing. How much are you paying in rent? How much are you paying in marketing? What are you paying in utilities, office supplies, insurance? These are knowable numbers. The best place, as with the sales forecast I said earlier, to get them is last year's numbers. And then think about the change, because we're all dealing with real extensive change. But still, start with last year's numbers, roll them forward, look at how they might change, add in everything. This is all regardless of MBA or CPA. This is knowing your business, know your numbers. It helps you sleep at night, and that's what you're going to use to manage change as change comes. So in LifePlan, you have this interface to do all of this step by step. If you're working on a spreadsheet, it's all, there's templates, et cetera. You can get information in B plans. There's a lot of information available, but you're going through these various steps. In this illustration, you're looking at how to forecast the assets. Magda needs kitchen equipment, displays, tables, and chairs. Okay, you're going to forecast them here, and at some point you're going to put in, well, how do I finance them? How much money do I have? How much money do I need? You're going to get the essential numbers. Cash flow assumptions in the software, they're built in. You can do this in spreadsheets and get templates, but basically, depending on what kind of business you have, you're going to drive your cash flow. And this lesson is important here about what drives your cash flow. Sales on credit. Early in my years, decades ago, of doing business plan software, I had a user complain like hell that the software didn't work. And I got online with him and we looked at his business plan, and he was a graphic artist selling B2B to businesses. And in his assumptions, he assumed he was going to get paid the day he delivered. Well, no, it's not the software. The assumptions are wrong. You, sir, are going to get paid 30, 60, 90 days after you deliver, because that's life in the real world of B2B, right? For those of you who are in B2B, you know what I'm saying. So these basic cash flow drivers, how much of your sales are on credit? That doesn't mean with a credit card. That means you deliver an invoice and wait to get paid by the business customer. How long do you wait to get paid? How much of what you buy do you buy on credit? And how long do you wait to pay? So I want to show you how important this is for your cash flow, because this is a critical lesson for managing your cash flow. In this base case, 80% of the sales are on credit, 30 days they wait to get paid, and they buy 40% of what they buy on credit and they pay in 15 days. And they're keeping inventory. That's what you see here. That's a base case. And if I go and change just one thing, prices didn't change, salaries didn't change, my cost of goods sold didn't change, nothing changed, but my days to get paid, my cash flow now is bouncing checks. Over here in the base case, my projected cash every month, I'm in the blue, which means I have the money to pay everything I need to pay in this scenario. But now, one thing's changed. Instead of 30 days, it takes 90 days. Well, some of you who are here with me know that this kind of thing happened with COVID for a lot of businesses. This kind of thing happens when the economy's changed. This is part of keeping the business going. This is why we want to have this information so we can adjust. If it's just 90 days and nothing else has changed, you can eyeball here. It looks like you're now $25,000 in the red. You've been bouncing checks. The point of the planning here is advance warning. So you go get a credit line, you add capital, God knows what you do, but you're warned here that this is what's going to happen if that one thing changes. So with 45 days instead of 30, things are a little better, but now you have a deficit. I can eyeball it to, it's about in March, you're about $5,000 short. So the goal of the lean planning is that you know ahead of time what's coming so you can adjust to it ahead of time. You might simply pay slower. In the 45-day scenario, I moved the purchases on credit from 40% to 80% and the days to pay to 45%. Now remember, this is just numbers. You have to do it in the real world, but that's why you're doing this planning, so you can anticipate what you're going to do when problems arise. And there's one quick solution in the numbers. You have to make sure that in your business, you can get by with this and you're not getting into trouble. That's why humans and not software manage a business. So here's a base case again, and notice the inventory. You're keeping 2 months inventory. If you go to 3 months inventory, it looks like now you're going to be in the red about $5,000 or $6,000 with just that one change, keeping just a little bit more inventory. So you adjust. Oh, I don't know that we need to do this. This goes up. It's much worse if you keep 4 months inventory. I'll skip past that. This is why you need to plan your cash flow. And in this case, the red and blue up on top, that isn't your balance. That's how much it changes. But what you need to know is that it will change, and then you accommodate in financing. In the real world, I mean, for me, when I dealt with this in my business, this meant go to the bank for credit line. And the difference that I really want to emphasize is if I go to the bank on Tuesday needing a credit line, or I'm going to miss payroll on Friday, I'm screwed. If I go to the bank 3 months ago and say, look, here's what's happening, but my basic numbers are good. This hasn't affected my profitability. Things are fine. The bank is going to be they're still going to make me sign a lien on my house, frankly, but that's real world business. But they're going to receive me a lot better if I know 3 months in advance. And if I go on Tuesday to try to get an emergency loan on Friday, I don't know about you, but in my case, I would have been screwed when my first bootstrapping, the first 5 years of Palo Alto software, I had no outside investment. My wife and I had to figure out every month when we reviewed and revised how we could not spend money we didn't have. And we grew it that way, but it had to be very careful. So complete financials, we don't have time to do you a course in complete financials. But the point I want to make here is LivePlan does, and there are templates available if you don't want to do LivePlan. And the numbers are knowable. They're finite. It doesn't take an MBA or a CPA. What happens is your sales and your costs and your expenses come together to calculate your profit and loss. And then your starting balances and your balance sheet with interest, expenses, and depreciation interact, and ultimately you can predict cash flow from educated guesses, and then you can react to it. And that's critical for business management. And that's a big one. By my timer, we still have 16 minutes, and I have, we're about on time, just so you know, but don't hesitate with questions at this point before we go into the execution section. Eric, we're okay?
We are okay. We only have no questions, but we do have a comment. Someone mentioned some email software like Constant Contact will give industry averages for open and bounced emails.
Oh, excellent. Yes, thank you for that, whoever added that, and some of its competitors. But that's perfect. That's a perfect addition to what I was saying. Constant Contact will give you averages. That's where we're going as business owners. Find out to educate the guesses. And that's all we're after, is educated guesses. And think about this. Just another one, sort of a pause for thought. No matter how hard it is to do the forecast, the essential numbers that we just finished going through, it's a lot harder to run your business without a forecast. That I guarantee. So last portion of the plan.
We do have one question that just popped up. It said, can you talk more about Live Plan and the SBDC?
Yes, you'll want to contact the El Camino College Small Business Development Center, and you'll be receiving, as part of this, contact information. Live Plan is a web app that sells for $19.95 per month on a subscription basis or less. There are discounts if you buy by year or whatever. The Small Business Development Center, in this case, is making that available for business owners who are their clients and who are working through the Small Business Development Center. And Arlene, if you're on this, if you want to add more, it's important. We have time.
Well, and Tim, this is Josh. I'll just jump in real quick with one anecdote. For those on the call, I work at Palo Alto Software. I work for Tim and the company. But the way that I got involved with working with Palo Alto Software and Live Plan is that back in 2011, I was a client of the SBDC and worked with a long-term advisor and got frequent counseling and advising. And I had no background in business or finance or any formal education there. And so everything that I learned in entrepreneurship and building a business was through the SBDC and their advising and their workshops. And it was also through the SBDC that I was introduced to Live Plan. And it really took away the mystery, the perceived complication, the fear factor of the financials. And so just as both a representative of Palo Alto Software, but just as an entrepreneur myself who's benefited from the SBDC, I highly encourage you on the call or on the webinar to connect with the SBDC. They're invaluable and they're government funded. So, I often as a client ask myself, how is this free? Why is someone investing so much time in me and my business? Well, it's because the United States government and the SBA fund the local SBDC because your small business and small business across the nation make up the vast majority of the economic drivers. So again, strong plug for the SBDC, and Live Plan itself is so simple and easy to use. It'll guide you through the process of building that business plan. So just a couple of comments there. So thanks for letting me jump in.
Thank you, Josh. Yes. Yeah. So perfect. And I will go on. I'm going to be very sensitive to our time allotted here. Execution. That's what matters in a business plan. Another one of my sayings is you measure the value of a business plan by the execution it causes, by the decisions it causes. So How do you do that? Start with a review schedule. Even if it's just you, single business owner, set up a time. For me, it goes back decades in Palo Alto software. It was always the third Thursday of every month. Everybody on the team knew that we were going to take a couple hours, maximum 2 hours, by the way. It doesn't take that long, to review plan versus actual, look at the assumptions changing, and revise the plan as needed. The third Thursday of the month, because QuickBooks, you need to close the month and get the final month numbers. So when January closes on the third Thursday of February, we'll be looking at the plan versus actual for January. And when I say plan versus actual, in Live Plan, you connect your Live Plan to your QuickBooks, and it automatically does like 3 dozen charts and so on of plan versus actual. The key management thing is schedule it in advance. I use this system to manage, as I said, Apple Japan grew on this from 180 million to 2 billion. And if those numbers sound too large, Palo Alto Software grew from 0 to more than 4 million. And of course, it's 2.5 times that now. But I'm talking about before we got outside investment. Set up your review schedule. In the Apple thing and with Palo Alto Software, the managers knew ahead of time when the review meetings were, so they had a lot of incentive to avoid being out. You know, occasionally there was a trade show, there was an important meeting, but the key managers knew that they ought to be at the review meeting every third Thursday of every month. This is the discipline that helps you run a business. So in Live Plan, you can schedule things. Major milestones is what I say. In upcoming, you'll see the review schedule are there. But there's some other things here in the milestones. Along with the review schedule, schedule in what's supposed to happen, because in these review meetings, you're going to look at, in this case, I mean, the examples don't matter, but top 10 customer list, social media program, spring promotion plans, those kind of things get into the lean business plan so that you can look at the end of the month and when you review, how did we do? Did we implement? Did we execute? And how did it go? How did it result? You list your assumptions because that will help you at the beginning of a review meeting, go over the assumptions and see what's changed. Guess what? All of us, March of 2020, you can imagine the review and revise meeting in March of 2020, the third Thursday of that month, as we looked at all hell had broken loose because of the pandemic. When assumptions change, the business plan has to change. That's the key to business planning. It's a dashboard, GPS, it's real-time information. What has changed? List the assumptions because it's the first point of that meeting. The milestones I've already mentioned, major milestones. You'll go crazy if you have everything that's that's supposed to happen every day. So it's 3 milestones a day. Major milestones, because that's the way we work as humans. What's going to change the business? The spring promotion, the new mailing list, the social media program. Major milestones are in your lean business plan. And we mentioned here that's in Live Plan. It will help you keep date. They have details. You can get email alerts and so on about these milestones. This is how we drive the business with the planning. It's the actual doing that matters, and that's the milestones. Metrics is critical to tracking. All of this getting things done element of lean business planning is about tracking results and changing and reacting to the actual results. Well, you need metrics. Don't just say, we want to be the best. Say, we want to have this minutes in average customer support call on average. We want to address this many problems. We want to have this many people in the showroom. We want to have this many lunches being served. Look at how you're going to track. Everything in a business plan should ultimately be trackable. And that's a matter of writing it down. How are you going to track it? So here's an example, and we don't have time to read it, but strategic updates per week in Facebook and in Twitter, plan promotion, 5 community spirit events, and of course, sales, gross margin, and expenses, as in the lean plan. The benchmarks that I mentioned before, and I had a slide on, will help you set your metrics and compare them to other businesses that are similar to yours. All of this then, I started with how this is about plan, run, review, revise. This is about better business management. This isn't about a beautiful document or a business plan. This is about running your business better. One thing I learned through the years and decades that I've been involved in running business, you don't sacrifice your life to make your business better. You build your business to make your life better. So you keep that in mind. That's what this is really about. So you have your monthly plan review meeting that I've talked about a little bit. You look at the plan versus actual, and you learn from it. In this case, your marketing, it's not just a number. Your marketing, you plan to spend $2,000, you spend $1,479. Well, that takes discussion, right? Because that might be a good variance. It looks like you spent less money, hooray. But did you get everything done? Were all the social media ads inserted? Did it all happen? Is this $500 saved an example of great cost savings, or is it that the marketing programs weren't executed? Same thing if the marketing was $812 more than planned, maybe there was a great opportunity, a really good spend for an extra $800. This isn't just accounting, this is humans. That's the key to that plan versus actual. And you will get, before I show you that example, the bicycle, in a bicycle shop, they planned 45 units, they sold 35. So that looks like negative of 10, but the average price was 300 more. So they ended up making $1,500 more in sales than they planned. All of this takes human analysis, human management. If you do this in Live Plan, you're going to get this dashboard that will show you plan versus forecast. There's like 3 dozen charts in here. You tie your accounting, your QuickBooks or Zero accounting into your Live Plan, and it will generate the plan versus actual automatically. So that gives you the key to these meetings. You can, we don't have time, and I don't want to do like, this is in the software, but you can compare in detail and go down and drill down on everything so you get the drivers of your business, like a dashboard, like we said, like your GPS. The key question always, all right, do you change the plan or you stay the course and keep going? And the software is not going to tell you that. The plan versus actual, the line charts, the bar charts, the numbers, the red and black in the numbers. It's you as business owner. This is why you're there. There's no artificial intelligence that would do this. Every time you have a plan review meeting, you have to decide what problems are they, poor execution or assumptions change. The good things, we've done something right. Do we change the plan to do more of it or not? Always, every monthly meeting. What do we keep doing and what do we change doing because it worked well or didn't work at all? That's the key to all of this. Conclusion. Military strategist and former president Dwight D. Eisenhower said, the plan is useless, but planning is essential. And up above, all business plans are wrong. Yes, all business plans are wrong, but vital, because that's your dashboard to run your business. You're going to track what you thought, what happened, and you're going to then make the changes to steer your business better. Real plans are never done. Palo Alto Software started in the late 80s with a business plan. It's met every Thursday, third Thursday of every month since the late 80s. It still does, to look at plan versus actual. And guess what? Our business plan has never been finished. Our business plan gets revised every month. Why the axe? Because that axe that you're looking at is 23 years old. but the blade has been changed 4 times in that time span, and the handle has been changed 12 times, but it's still the same axe. That's your business plan. That's how you're going to manage your business with it. Finally, here we have, and we've built the questions in. Our timing is we got about a minute left, but we'll stop here with the resources that you can get. You've got LivePlan and Tim at paloalto.com, and you've got through this organization how you can get back to the Small Business Development Center at El Camino College and follow up on LivePlan or whatever else. And with that, I'm going to spare you my face. It's awkward with this interface that it's just slides, but since we got like 50 seconds left, to make sure you have time to write down this. And if there's any quick last, we don't have much time. I'm on a strict timing here. So we've got just a little bit, but Eric, questions?
No questions. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Tim, for providing tools our businesses can use to help them manage change. And I'm going to quote you for the audience because one of our business owners wrote it in the chat because it's very important for all to remember. You don't sacrifice your life to make your business better. You build your business to make your life better. That is a great quote. Thank you, Tim, for your time. And I'm sure you're going to be hearing from our audience. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
And now for a little fun. As Hawthorne Business Expo 2021 Virtual Town Hall brings you comedian Lorinda Hawkins Smith.
Well, hello. Well, I just want to thank you, Hawthorne Business Expo, for having me today. And I just have been learning so much already. Thank you, Tim. Even though we didn't get to see your face, I learned about drills, about how you don't buy drills because you want drills, you want holes. And more importantly, I learned that failure is trying to please everybody. So just a heads up, I don't care if all y'all don't like me. I want success. Just kidding. But if y'all wouldn't mind unmuting yourself if you're in a location that isn't too noisy with background noise, that would be much appreciated. Well, as Miss Valentine said, my name is Lorinda, and I am a woman of faith. That's right, I am a woman who loves to pray, especially in these indoor days. That's right. I even have a prayer rock. I sure do. See that? It says prayer changes things. And it does. You know what else changes things? Rocks. Yeah, rocks change things. Yeah, I'm not an advocate for violence. I'm a change maker. Well, I used to drive for a Nigerian wife of a pastor, and I don't think she thought I was too bright. She would say to me, Lorinda, go slow. So I asked her, I said, well, how do you say slow down in Ebu, since she was from the Ebu village? And she said, Lorinda, go slow. And we were parked, so I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. And then this other day, she said, Lorinda, I need you to take me to Marikalenda. I don't know where that is. Lorinda, you say you know LA. Why lie? Never mind, I'll show you. We get there, it's Marie Callender's. That is what I said, Marie Calenda. Yeah, one time she invited me to a Nigerian wedding. She wanted me to be her guest. She needed me to drive. But I couldn't wait, but I told her I didn't have anything to wear. Lorinda, never mind. I'll give you clothes. Oh, she gave me this beautiful outfit and I was ready to go. And she stopped me. She looked, Lorinda, your feet. I said, well, I had on a pair of pink knockoff Uggs. I had them for a while. I had them for a while, so they were more like puce. But, you know, they were comfortable. They were comfortable, and I had a sprained ankle at the time. She said, never mind, I'll get you shoes. She came back with heels.
With a sprained ankle.
Right, heels with a sprained ankle. I ain't wearing those shoes. She said, Lorinda, Lorinda, Lorinda. Huh? You said you are a believer? Yeah, Justin Bieber's cool. No. You said you no good. I never said I was no good. A woman of faith would put on the shoes, walk in the heels, and be healed.
She get 2 points.
I'm in. See, faith without works is dead, Lorinda. Faith without rocks is dead. All right, that works. Well, as you can see, I am rocking the all natural look. That's right. No dye, why try? That's right. I'm embracing getting older. You know, I mean, I do notice that compliments now are preceded by still. You still look good. Oh, I gotta get used to being treated like milk now. Like, Barbara, get in here, meet Lorinda.
That worked.
Still good. Yeah, but it's weird. It's weird how getting older changes your what you want in a relationship. I mean, before I wanted a guy who could see me for who I am, and now I just want him to be able to see. No, that was definitely a stop sign. That was, ooh, would you stop? Sign. See it. Yeah, it's weird, you know. It's weird how in school you couldn't wait to be a senior, right? Couldn't wait. But now it's like, senior, excuse me, who are you talking to? I am only 51. 50 years and older is senior to you? How are you? I'm sorry, did you say free?
Yeah. Free.
I'm sorry, not discounted, but free? Okay, well, I will be your senior. How senior do you need me? You need me to be 55, 65, 75? How old you need me to be? I'll be that senior. What, you need me to have senioritis? Well, I ain't got no class no way. Let's go. Be your senior. That's right. You know, I think I might still have it though, even though I am getting older. I think I still got it. Yeah. Even in a mask. Yeah, I mean, I was walking the other day and some young guy tried to pick me up. Literally. He was sagging, and not his pants, his mask. It's supposed to here, but he was.
That was good.
But yeah. He said, are you from that building? Am I from that building? I said, no, but no. Ladies, if some strange man asks you if you're from that building, The answer is no. And if he's sagging, the answer is always no, right? Right? So I'm torn because on the one hand, hey, I still got it. But on the other hand, is that what I got? That's what I got. Okay. Well, that's all right. I'm going to still wear a mask, but I don't like the person I'm turning into. I'm turning into a maskist. A little bit.
What?
Yeah, it's bad. Okay, so if I'm walking down the street and I see you're not wearing a mask, I will clutch my purse and cross to the other side of the street. That's right. That's right. Maskist. Maskist. That's right. The other day I saw another person not wearing a mask and I called the police. That's right. That's right. And they took me to jail. Yeah. But maskist. But this one guy, this one guy really got me. I couldn't compose myself and I called him the N-word. That's right. Non-compliant. Except it was more like non-compliant. Maskism, it's real. You felt it, right? Being treated differently just for not wearing a mask, right? So wear one. So wear one. So wear one. You know what's fun in a pandemic? Doing census work. Oh my goodness. You want some fun? Try to do the census in the middle of a pandemic, where everybody counts, right? But I mean, that's the hope. You get treated like royalty, basically. You get treated like you're one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah. Mom, there's someone at the door. Get down, sit. You better stop. You just stay. Turn off the lights. Turn off the lights. Okay, stop breathing. Stop breathing. Oh. Yeah, that's the census. But it's rewarding work. I mean, well, this one lady, bless her heart, she said to me, I don't do that. I was like, what does that mean? You don't do what? I don't do census. And I was like, this woman was acting like I was asking her to share a crack pipe. No. She was like, no, I'm sorry, but I'm 10 years census clean. Okay. No. Oh, well. Well, the state of the economy has really changed. It's changed my goals is what it's done. Because before, I wanted to make a lot of money so I could, breathe easier. But now I just want to be able to breathe. That's all. Just be able to breathe. And before this pandemic, I used to wash my clothes. Now, I let my clothes wash me. Yeah. Yeah, because right now, I just wear the same thing over and over and over again till it falls apart and then I throw it away. Boom, laundry done. Nobody else? Nobody else? Don't judge me like your clothes are gonna fit after the pandemic. Well, you know what? I just got an Apple Watch recently. Anybody else have one of these? No. I love my Apple Watch. It tells me when to stand, when to breathe, when to exercise. Yeah, it's like being married. You know the difference between my Apple Watch and my ex-husband? I paid for this to make me feel bad about myself. I didn't pay him. Until after the divorce. Well, birthdays are special. Anybody have a birthday during the pandemic? Yeah, you know what I miss? I miss those office birthdays, right? Come on, everybody, it's Martha's birthday. Happy birthday to you, Martha. My name's Stephanie. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Martha. I mean, Stephanie. Come on, everybody. It's Shalandra's birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Come on, everybody. It's Rosa's birthday. Feliz cumpleaños a ti. Ah, yes. Yeah, I miss those. But now I get emails. Yeah, I get lots of emails. Anybody else? So for my birthday, though, I appreciate what your businesses are doing, you know, trying to be adaptable and flexible. I got an email from a restaurant saying, for your birthday, we want to give you a free dessert. I was like, hey, but we're closed.
Yes.
So remind us when we're open. Really? What's that gonna look like? I'm here for my free dessert. You owe me. Security! Yeah, that's what that would look like. No, so I get another email and it says, happy belated birthday. Order your free dessert. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm feeling it. So I pick delivery, unavailable. Okay. So I choose curbside, unavailable. Okay, so you don't want to bring it to me. I'll get out of the car. Pick up, unavailable. What in the, you know, if I want this type of treatment, I mean, I could have stayed married to my ex-husband, right? I mean,
Yeah.
emotionally unavailable. That's what that was. It's like, woo, so glad to be alone during the pandemic. Okay. Well, what about those people who, for your birthday, send you a picture of what they were gonna get you if they remembered? Does that happen to anybody? I mean, what is the thinking behind that? It's like, ding, oh, a text, how pretty, of some flowers I'm allergic to. Well, so glad you didn't remember to send those. I mean, what is the logic behind that? Because I had some guy send me a picture of flowers that he liked for my birthday. They weren't even my favorite flowers. I mean, does it work both ways? Just because he likes something, I like it. So I could be like, hey, sweetie, did you get my text? You'd be like, yeah, but why'd you send me a picture of this dude? Well, I figured since I like guys, you must like guys. Happy birthday. Okay, well, let you know who didn't forget my birthday? God, because that would have sucked. There's something I was supposed to do today. Someone I don't know to create. I'll make another TED instead. So glad that didn't happen. Woohoo! But you know what's interesting? Our birthday drive-bys. You know, it's weird because, you know, before the pandemic, we wouldn't be caught anywhere near a drive-by, but now it's like a show of love, right? It's like, if you loved me, you would have given me a drive-by. That's right, you have a car, your friends have a car, but you don't love me. You didn't even do a drive-by on me for my birthday. No. Yeah, folks. I mean, now people are dreaming of drive-bys, right? People outside my house. It must be my birthday. It must be my birthday. Because they're outside my house in cars. mean, even the gang members, you could see them doing it too, right? Right? Here we go. Come on, man. Come on. What up, Holmes? What up, lad? What up, Holmes? What up, lad? Happy birthday. Happy birthday, brother. Yeah. Oh, you thought we would forget? No, man. It's, oh, wait, quick. Get it. His gift card. That's right. Get your nails done, man. No. It's not just for ladies. Come on, man. Treat yourself. I mean, on your moms, on my moms, man. That's a lot of honor you need to give to your moms, because I know the pain my moms went through to have me, and I can imagine the pain your moms had because of the size of your head, man. Look at it. No, bromas. But no, if you think about it, I'm gonna get real deep, you know, like profundo, man. But God, I mean, he like got together with your moms and they created you. It's like sacred, this life that they gave you, man. And if you think about it, if they didn't give you that life today, we wouldn't be able to take it tomorrow. Right. So you gotta celebrate today. And we'll see you tomorrow. Ooh. Too deep. Too deep. Too deep. And that's my time. Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lorinda.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now be ready to be inspired as you move through your own challenges. Donald Perry will sing Climb Every Mountain.
Climb every mountain, search high and low, follow every byway, every path you know. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your dream, a dream that will need all the love you can give every day of your life for as long as you live. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your dream, a dream that will need all the love you can give every day of your life for as long as you live. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your
Thank you, Donald. That was wonderful. You can read all about Lorinda and Donald on our website.